Welcome to The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lane. Gardening can be challenging, but with Ken's tips, tricks, and local advice, you'll reap huge rewards. Now welcome your host, Ken Lane.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lane, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And the reason that we live up here is because it does not get hot in the summer. In fact, Phoenix folks have summer homes up here in God's country. It's so nice. In the winter, okay, so it turned a little cold this week. It actually feels like winter, but we like 4 seasons. So a little snow, yeah, it's okay. It thaws off pretty quick, and we're right back at it. Even dressing in layers, you get hot. I dress in the morning, have 4 or 5 or 6 layers on. And right now I'm in the studio, came in from the garden center, and I've got, 3 layers on. And I've got a nice stocking cap on, and I'm a little bit hot. Some of the summer folks, they'll come up here. The Phoenix folks are going to, oh, it's so cold. Oh, my goodness. There's an inch of snow on the ground. How do you live? But the rest kind of go, yeah, it's fine. It's good. You got to watch the ice a little bit. This was an icy event this week. So that's not as fun. I love waking up and watching just, 4 inches of powder out there over the trees. We did see some damage to the trees mainly. So some ponderosa pines are blowing over. If there was any kind of root damage, let's say they rotted off, or you've got some construction, you had to cut some of the roots, they haven't quite grown out and recovered, or they went from super dry to super wet, which was last year really dry. This year had some monsoons, and so there was this extreme change that affected some of the roots. You put a tremendous wind gust with a little bit of snow or ice, even worse. Sometimes those branches can break, or they can just fall right over because there's tremendous force on some of these evergreens. You put a 50, 60 mile of wind on a ponderosa pine or pinyon pine or something, it's going to wreak havoc. It's going to stress the limits of the strength of that tree. That's why with a brand new plant, let's say you put a brand new Colorado spruce or Vanderwolf pine, Austrian pine, whatever evergreen tree you've got out there, you plant that. The first year or 2, we like to stake that tree. It's heavy. It can hold up to the wind itself. But what happens is you get some of this heavy ice, and then you put some wind on that, and it can move that root ball that hasn't quite rooted in yet. And so those fine root hairs that have been rooting out, they're probably still doing that. Real fine white root hairs, you lose all those as that root ball shifts just because the wind moved that top growth. You break some of those root hairs. Does it kill the tree? No. Will it set you back by 6 months of root growth? Yes. So if you simply put a stake on either side, even though it's way overkill, the only reason we're doing that when we first planted that first year is to keep that heavy weather events this time of year, that now through the end of the year and very late, kind of late winter, early spring, you get these heavy wet snows can cause that kind of damage. And so that's the reason we do that. And so we did see some of that damage show up, not mainly on young trees. They were too small. Some of the big boys, like one of our staff members, and we're talking a ponderosa pine you can't put your arms around, blew over. Luckily, it didn't land on the house, went across the driveway, but still, that's spooky. And you didn't see it coming, but it was pretty ferocious earlier in the week. So wind is not going to affect things. If you had some broken branches, you're fine. Clean them up. You're going to be pruning after the new year anyway. So our pruning season here in the mountains of Arizona for most things is usually the new year through March. You should get it done by March. It's a big window. You got 3 months. We prune up the fruit trees like apples and pears and cherries, and we shape the shade trees so they get fuller. We kind of groom the evergreens, the shrubs. It just depends on what it is. We'll hold off on pruning back all the spring bloomers. We don't prune those in that time frame. We wait till they're done blooming. So lilacs, forsythia, rhododendrons, azaleas, all these things that bloom early in spring, late winter, early spring, you let them bloom, and after they're done blooming, then you start to shape and prune back and get them back under control. If you prune them back now, you're fine. You'll just cut off the flowers. So you'll have this beautiful shrub, beautiful lilac, and no flowers or funky looking flowers. It's better just to enjoy the flowers, then enjoy the fragrance, and then you go ahead and trim them back then. So that's kind of that's the art. If you had some broken branches, I'd say you're not in a rush unless it's going to fall and break. If you got a big notch in there that kind of half of it is breaking in two, that's pretty serious because the next windstorm will cause some issues. So it can break further. But mostly, you're probably fine. So right now, what I'm worried about is my pond. The pond is starting to freeze over. I've not had any ice in the pond until this week. So I've got this beautiful kind of waterfall, kind of creek coming through the backyard. This sounds really good. I keep it running for the birds. So they come down and they'll use that as a water source because water can become scarce for birds, especially as it freezes over. So I just keep water in the front yard and the backyard just for them. I only run it during the middle of the day when it's warm. Even in January, it's not freezing at noon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's freezing at night. So I just change when the run cycles are and I let it run. I am putting a pond heater this weekend. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I've got a pond heater that I don't keep in the pond all the time, but I do put it in when I start to see ice. And so I've got a floating pond heater. Now, they also make the ranchers, you folks tuned in from the ranch, the bigger properties, you've got cattle and goats and sheep and you've got bigger game animals. There you've got a stock tank heater. Typically, it's sunk towards the bottom, and then it heats up the water from the bottom up. In residential, usually we're doing a floating pond heater. I've got a pretty decorative rock. I mean, it seems funny to have a rock floating in the water, but that's what it is. And I put it down by my skimmer. And so it keeps a hole open. It doesn't keep the entire pond thawed, but it keeps a portion of that pond thawed. It keeps it open. And so I want to put it down where my skimmer is, so it keeps that hole down there, and then it warms that water up as it goes into the skimmer. I don't want that water where the skimmer is, that's usually where the pump is as well. You can have $1,000 pump. I think the last time we replaced it was $1,200. So it's a big pond. Okay, it's a big waterfall. It's 3-inch, 2-inch pipe that's feeding this thing. So it moves some water. And so there I don't want that to freeze. So just putting my pond in there and I plug it in. It's got an automatic thermometer. So at 35 degrees, it activates. And then when it's above that, it turns off. So it automatically turns on and off as the pond needs that. And so it keeps me from having to replace hardware, the pond, the pumps, and then it keeps a hole open. This is especially important if you've got fish. If you've got koi and goldfish and mosquito fish and some of these other types of decorative pond backyard fish that we have, they don't like to be underneath solid ice. There's some toxic, the air starts to change within the water when you do that. So you want to keep at least a hole open. And you don't need a pond heater to do this. You could throw a tennis ball in there, and as it warms up, it'll keep a hole. It lets the gases underneath that ice to kind of vape off. If you just leave it frozen, they become drunken, they become intoxicated, asphyxiated even, and it can affect them. And some of your koi, I don't know if you've priced out large prized koi, they can be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. You want to take care of those. So don't let those kinds of ponds freeze over solid. Just keep a hole open. And so what I find it's easiest for me, because I don't have to think about it, I just throw my floating pond heater down by the skimmer, plug it in, and voila, I'm done. I'll keep that through February, first part of March, and then we're done freezing. The deep cold's done. And I just take it out and store it for the rest of the year. Got a lot in store for you. Lisa Watersling, she's coming in with your garden questions right after this.
You've been listening to The Mountain Gardener with Ken Lane, owner of Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Join him every week for timely garden advice right for the gardens. Visit Ken where he can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
Look, if your wife, mom, or dad wants an ugly sweater for Christmas, get them a sweater, not some piece of plastic.
But if someone you truly care about loves their garden, a gift card to Waters makes perfect sense.
Next spring, she can pick exactly what she was hoping.
We all know it's not the same as a huge flower basket or fragrant rose, but hey, it's winter. Gardeners understand.
Waters online gift cards are found at top10plants.com or at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
Hi, Waters with this week's Plant of the Week, our True Blue Fat Albert Spruce.
At just 15 feet, this is the ideal evergreen for small gardens, excellent in front yards with limited space.
The color is so blue all year long with the perfect evergreen shape.
Dense, durable, and loves the sun, so it works well as a windbreak, screen, or sound barrier, and only found at
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, where people who love the perfect blue spruce love to shop. You've been listening to Ken Lane, the Mountain Gardener. Green thumbs learned while working in the Family Garden Center. Now welcome back to the Mountain Gardener.
All right, we are back with Lisa Waterslane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Mm-hmm. And we've had storms. We scraped ice off on, Tuesday and Wednesday, and lots of ice melt, and still gardeners are coming in. They're still looking at stuff. It's kind of fun.
It is fun.
That's hardcore. Gardeners come to a garden center in an ice storm. That's just hardcore.
Well, dedicated gardeners.
There you go. Dedicated gardeners in winter. You got to be in winter. I talked to a customer this morning. Anyway, sometime it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And new from Colorado, just came down, sold a ranch up there, bought a ranch down here, and she's going, the weather is so great. I love it down here. It's minus like 2 degrees at home, and it's like 23 here. It's great.
Right. It's all relative though, right? We were in Phoenix earlier in the week, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of nice to have some warmth,
and they were all in parkas. The natives in Phoenix were in parkas. We're down there in like a t-shirt, and it's perfect.
Right.
But people have been coming in. The questions are there. It's lighter. It's a lighter flow.
Oh, definitely.
A garden center. We don't have a tomato plant garden, section right now. We've got the winter vegetables. We've got those. We got the winter herbs, but that full-on huge department that takes up 1,000 square feet or more. It's kind of closed off at the moment. Now it's winter evergreens, lots of house plants. The hard goods just came in. So pottery's coming in. It's kind of the 2022 stuff that we ordered like back in August is now
finally
arriving.
Showing up. Yeah.
We've been looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's a good planning time of year. So planning your garden, especially vegetable gardens, because you want to rotate crops. You want to maybe move things that didn't perform well. You need to move them to other areas. So it's a good time to plan.
You know what I find now is the weather, it went from really nice, almost late summer, early fall. It went from autumn weather to winter like this week.
Yeah.
And so we went from, it's going to be 38 tonight. Oh, it's so cold no, it's 19 degrees. Yeah. It went like overnight and it caught some of the faucets. So I've heard at the higher elevations, some of the water pipes broke because they just weren't ready. You got to power up insulate the well, watch your backflow preventers, the faucets, like we put styrofoam, basically covers over top of our outside faucets, even though they're frost free, just to ensure they don't have issues. So that's been some of the stuff. Anyway, what kind of questions we got this week? Is anything exciting new?
Oh, they're all exciting.
Listeners are going to go, wow, I can't believe they just covered that over the airwaves.
Sure, they're all that way, dear.
In our mind, in our world.
So Jerry has a question. He has a purple robe locust, fairly good size. With all the wind we had the other night, some broke 2 or 3 branches out of it. Yeah. Kind of left him pretty jagged. Wants to know if he should do anything with him at this point. Wait until he prunes. What's your thought?
Yeah. So purple robe locust, just for listeners that don't know what that is, it's a big shade tree. and it gets these great big purple flowers that hang down, kind of like wisteria flowers.
Beautiful.
Usually around Mother's Day. So it's right now it's dormant. It is deciduous. That is no leaves on it. But it must be a pretty substantial because the wind still, or the ice. How about the ice got it?
It could be.
Ice got on it, loaded it down, then it just snapped off. If it's just jagged and it's not too bad, you don't have two main branches that are kind of wide, they're starting to fall apart, I would say don't worry about it right now. Enjoy the holidays. Drink eggnog. Enjoy
you shouldn't be up on a ladder.
In an ice storm. But after, anytime after the new year, I would say when you're pruning everything else,
clean them up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like you're in a rush unless it fell on your neighbor's house. I mean, some obvious things, which that doesn't seem like Jerry, he wouldn't describe that.
No, just
so I think the pressure's off. I think you're okay. You might want to open it up or limit back some. There's some techniques to taking some of the weight off. You might research some of that or come talk to us, but I wouldn't be worried about it right now. I would say if this is the case for this plant, we want to set the stage for robust spring growth. I might fertilize it. So it's time to fertilize the end of the year. When you fertilize with the all-purpose plant food, the evergreens mainly keeps them green. So you just chuck it on the ground, let the snows and rains take it down. I would probably recommend that for this particular purple robe locust, just because it got broken. I can't visualize how much. That'll help it set the stage, bigger buds for next spring. You get better flowers next year. It'll just help you grow out of any mistake you might make, any broken branches that might have been there. That'd be it. Don't worry about it, Jerry. You're good.
that was your short way of saying it.
Pretty much. I got to fill an hour here. So it's winter. There's ice on the ground. The listeners are inside sipping tea.
Well, our next part you can expand upon too. The next question. It's kind of a two-parter question. So Bonnie brought in some geraniums to winter over.
Yeah.
So the first part of her question is, should she trim them back to winter them over? And how often should she water? I guess it's a three-part question. And part three is
geraniums indoors.
There you go. And the other part is she's got soil gnats now gnats in the house and wants to know how to get rid of those. So
I gather the gnats are in. They came in with the geraniums?
I believe so.
I'll bet so. So geraniums are not perennial here. So at the higher elevations, that is, they won't rest underground and come back fresh every year from the roots bigger than before, like a peony or a coreopsis echinaceus. There's a whole bunch of mountain perennials that come back every year. Yeah. This one will not. So you need to bring it indoors to protect it, to keep it from freezing. And so she's done that. And so when you bring plants from the outdoors indoors, it is very possible to bring what was living in that soil or on that plant inside. So she brought in fungus gnats. It's a little tiny gnat, kind of bugs you. It gets in front. It's attracted to light. Like you'll see them
TVs,
come at you at your TV, through your computer screens, at the windows, kind of a nuisance. They're living in the soil. So there's a maggot stage to that particular plant, and they love warm, tropical kind of soils. So the maggot, the worm, is inside the soil. The gnats are just up for just 2-3 days, laying more eggs, and there's a cycle to it. You need to get rid of the gnats, and you're good. The worms, the larva stage of that, and you're good. So you sprinkle some systemic granules. Is probably come talk to us. We can show you exactly what that is. There's some granules called systemic granules. Sprinkle on the ground, water it in, obliterates the worm. They can, if you're not careful though, they'll quickly migrate from the geraniums to your other houseplants, and they can kill your plants. They eat the roots of the plants. This is not good. You should deal with them. So, okay, that's how you deal with the gnats. That was the easiest part. Should I trim them back? How much should I water? Trim them back. I mean, sometimes geraniums are used as houseplants. They can be a little dirty as they bloom. They shed some petals and stuff, but let your robot vacuum them up. They're fine. It depends on where she's got them. If it's in a garage, I wouldn't worry too much.
Just let
them be. If they're in a crawl space and in the dark, I'd cut them back hard. Let them rest. Let them go to sleep. If they're in as a houseplant, water them every 10, 14 days. They're fine. Treat them like a houseplant. So there's some variables with that. Generally, what we say is prune them back because they get so big outdoors. Yeah. Trim them back some so they don't take up so much real estate in your living room or your Arizona room or wherever. And then just water them and care for them. You're going to bring them back outdoors the end of March, sometime first of April. You can put them back outdoors, and they'll start growing again. You fertilize them with that flower power. Make a special fertilizer, liquid fertilizer for blooming plants. That'll bring them right back into bloom. But that's how you do it. So I'd say that with coleus, bacopa. Impatience. There's so many things you could do that with here. Mandavillas. Yeah, there's so many. Jasmine. There's so many that won't winter over outdoors, but they will indoors. And then if you make a mistake, I know a couple that owns a garden center in Prescott that would sell you another geranium if you need it there, buddy. So great questions this week. So we are out of time. Thanks, Lisa, for being here. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners, here at Waters Garden Center. We'll be right back after these important messages.
You're listening to Ken Lane, a.k.a. the Mountain Gardener. Ken can be found throughout the week in Prescott at Waters Garden Center. Listen each week as he answers timely garden questions unique to mountain gardens.
The holidays are here in Arizona's Christmas City, bringing family closer and those chilly winter winds.
While you're decorating the outside, don't forget to brighten up the inside with exotic Christmas plants from Waters.
Beautiful Christmas cactus and poinsettia are coming to town, grown exclusively by Waters in colors you won't find anywhere else.
Unique, vibrant, and guaranteed to warm even the dreariest winter day.
Check your list twice for exotic Christmas plants at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
Hi, Waters, with the plants of the week and our double pink Linton Rose.
Stunning double pink flowers dangle from this amazing perennial.
And this flower stands apart from the rest for its tremendous color impact that starts in midwinter and then holds its blooms right through spring.
So tough it's rarely bothered by bugs and completely deer-proof.
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, where people who love new pink perennials, they love to shop.
You've been listening to The Mountain Gardener with local expert Ken Lane. Join the conversation every week as he answers timely garden questions. Email Ken a question directly from your phone to his desktop through the web at watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com. Now welcome back your host, Ken Lane.
So I have cleaned up all of the vegetable gardens. So all the cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers are all pulled. They're cleaned up. The soil's empty, waiting to go. I've added some manure to those gardens. I just put it on top. Let it kind of sit there and percolate, kind of do its magic. I want to reinvigorate or revitalize that soil so it will receive plants and grow them just as well. This year was an amazing year this year as far as production goes, but it's getting the soil ready. I'll turn all that after the holidays. I'll turn some fertilizer, some bone meal, probably add some more compost to those garden areas. But right now, I want to put my manures on. A mistake many people make is they put manure on their gardens, turned in, and then plant, and it burns the seedlings. And so it's too hot. But if you put it on a month or two before you're actually going to plant, it helps it settle down. You get all that nutrient benefit, but you don't have the salt burn and the nitrogen burn that can happen with fresher or newer manure added to the gardens. This is especially important if you're using fresh horse poop or cow poop or turkey or chicken. These are really hot. So we have one here at the garden center. We call it barnyard manure. It's several manures, and it's got their bedding in it as well. So, and then we've composted that down for about a year. And so it's deodorized manure. It doesn't look like poop in a bag. So much poop, it looks like it's dripping gooey wet. It's like, gross. Why am I selling this and putting it in the back of a Cadillac? That's not right. So we purposely compost it longer so it doesn't stink and it's not gooey and gross and it's less salt in it. So it's better for your gardens. Still, it's very high in nitrogen. And so I'll put it down now, and our planting season full on begins. Like potatoes and your lettuce and spinach, you're putting those in the ground the end of February, first part of March. I mean, full on. Not tomatoes, not your summer plants, but your cool season, the leafy things that you're harvesting, the foliage or the flower, like broccoli, cauliflower. These you go in, Brussels sprouts. You put those in March. You don't wait. If you wait until May, they bolt and they get off flavor. You want to plant those while it's still cold. So cool out at night. But I want to get my soils kind of ready. So I'll put my manure on now. I'll let it set there. And in January, I don't know, a nice day when I'm bored, February 1st, I'll turn everything, get the soil all ready. So whenever the nice weather, whenever this thing breaks, usually after Valentine's, it kind of depends on your elevation. I realize it's still brutally cold for you folks in Flagstaff, you folks in the White Mountains, but those of us on, let's say, the south side of hills, like in Prescott Valley, Cottonwood, Camp Verde, Sedona, it's beautiful. We got beautiful weather in March. You're planting that. You're putting potatoes and radishes and onions in then, but you want to prep your soils beforehand. Same with your flowers. You're getting those flower sections ready. You're getting to receive more pansies and violas and those cool season things. The earlier, there's some cool season type of petunias and geraniums. They can go in much earlier than, let's say, summer zinnias or dahlias that are more frost sensitive. And so there's a seasonality to things. Another one I noticed too, and so I'm going to walk the yard this weekend and check, but I do have my irrigation on, and it did freeze. I heard it running in the background. One of my elbows had some water settle in there, and it broke. So I've got to replace that. It's a real easy fix, a 99-cent fix. It's a breeze. But I'm going to throw a bag of whatever I'm using next spring. I'm going to probably potting soil. I'll throw a bag of potting soil over that fixture. And now it won't freeze. So I'll fix it, and then I'll just keep it from breaking again. So watch that. I have put mulch bags or potting soil. Those are my two main things that I use. If you're going to use manure a little bit later, get a bag of manure. Throw it on top of your irrigation box. Throw it on top of things that are exposed that might freeze, because nothing is better at insulating than dirt. And dirt in a bag is like a huge pillow you throw over top of that drip systems where all that hardware is in the ground. It's usually got a lid on it. You look underneath it, and it's got this. It's called the manifold. So the wires go from the clock to those manifolds and activate them or deactivate them. And so if those things freeze, it's expensive to fix. But the easiest way to insulate them is throw a bag of mulch that you're going to use next spring anyway. Throw it on top of there. I use it around the well house. I keep things that might be exposed. I just throw them against the well house. Keeps those pipes that come out of the holding tank, keeps them from freezing. Super easy. And if you're going to need them anyway, why not buy them early and get some double benefit? They're keeping things from freezing, and I've got my potting soil for next year. It's a twofold win. Anyway, some insider tips. More right after this. Don't go anywhere.
The Mountain Gardener, your source for timely garden advice right for higher elevations. Guaranteed to make a difference in your yard this season. Look, if your wife, mom, or dad wants a sweater for Christmas, get them a sweater, not some piece of plastic.
But if someone you truly care about loves her garden, a gift card to Waters makes perfect sense.
Next spring, she can pick out exactly what she was hoping for.
We all know it's not the same thing as a huge hanging basket or a fragrant rose, but hey, it's winter. Gardeners understand.
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. Also at watersgardencenter.com. Hi, Lisa with the plants of the week and our Austrian pine.
We have instantaneous trees just in and ready for fall planting.
This pine has the same long needles as our ponderosa pine without all the problems, and these trees are really big and bold.
This is the fastest growing of the pines, and lots of sizes to choose from, but the $249 model is exceptionally big.
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, for people who love big, bold pines. They love to shop. You're listening to The Mountain Gardener with local expert Ken Lane. Mountain gardening is very rewarding, with a few Ken's tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts sure to turn your thumbs even greener. Now welcome back to The Mountain Gardener.
All right, so Ken and Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each week, this segment, and just shares her garden insights, input, she just inputs into my life, and then it spreads over the airwaves to the audience, and we all become smarter, all because of my lovely bride.
Yes.
And her garden
prowess.
I'm done. Yeah, just trying. I've got all my deadlines for 2022 coming up. So the magazines through March are pretty much done, because magazines need a lot of lead time to get all the HD photos, or more expensive to print. January's in the can. So all the newspapers, they're all done. We've got one show left. This is the last show before Christmas.
Yeah.
So next week we will actually air Christmas Day, this show, because we got the airtime. Might as well get it going. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you. So it's been like a whirlwind week. We've been to many, many parties. It's kind of fun this year going back to parties, because I don't think last year we did any parties. So it's definitely been fun going back to those and doing white elephant gift exchanges.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, for the video folks that are watching the vlog, yes, she's making faces. You can't quite hear that over the airwaves.
Can't hear the sarcasm over the airwaves.
I like white elephant gifts. It's kind of more, as long as you have your expectations so low that you just don't care what you get.
So what was your favorite one?
Well, the favorite party or favorite gift?
Favorite gift.
My favorite gift. White elephant gift was, I got a handheld Mr. Microphone that I can take with the grandkids, and we're going to have a ball with that. We're just going to go talk to each other, sing, karaoke, just have a ball with the grandkids. So that's the one that we had. Rotary had theirs. What was that? Wednesday night at the Prescott Resort. There was a lot of people there. I just basically, and I was running the white elephant thing. I said, pick up my white elephant gift and give it to the bartender, give it to the pianist, give it to everyone else, because I don't want it. And they thought it was great after I had worked the tip jar for them all. Right. So we kind of got them tips and a gift. So worked out great.
So my favorite one was this humongous Nerf gun.
Yeah.
That I forget which party we got it at, but yeah, I'm going to take that to the grandkids too, and I'm going to shoot the living daylights out because they're always getting me with their Nerf guns. So the
secret is snag all the bullets, because you shoot them out. You need a pocket full. You need to start out full and have pockets full, and then always have those Nerf gun fights at the kids' house.
Oh yeah,
not at ours, because you find those little Nerf bullets every place for hours.
Yes.
So anyway.
Yeah. So I figure this is my opportunity to get even with all the times they've shot me for the year.
When I'm doing it, I usually turn the lights out. So it's usually me and the kids. It's if you turn the lights back on, it's pure dark Nerf fights. So you get used to the dark. Yeah. You run around, but they get chicken. They start turning them back on, going, "I wonder where he's at."
Well, you're scary.
And I'm coming after you. How dare you turn the lights on? And shoot him in the forehead with a Nerf ball.
I know we're going to get some people going,
what
are you doing? Doing good. But it is fun. We have a ball with them. They won't be here for Christmas, though. That's very sad.
We're going a couple weeks afterwards to go see them. So, but they're of that age where they need to enjoy their house, make Christmas their tradition. So, and we're leaving them alone. You just kind of let them do their thing, and be fun to wake up and just see the presents under the tree. I remember that as a kid, and we want that for our kids.
Sure.
So anyway, enough about our Christmas parties and kids and how we're doing our tradition. What about garden advice and how to inspire people to plant in the ice?
I tell you, it gets really hard this time of year.
At the end of the year, especially.
You are, because you're just like fried. But yeah, you can still be out there gardening. Even though we had ice, the permafrost is like, do we even have permafrost?
It's already melted. Oh, yeah.
Right. So you can still dig, which means you can still plant.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Definitely. And there's some plants that just perform amazingly well, even in the frigid cold.
You know what I noticed is, like, we keep a lot of the hollies, Alberta spruce. Some of the plants are kind of holiday-ish. We keep them outside, mainly at the front, so they're inspiring people when they come in. They almost look better now. After the cold than they do before the cold. I mean, they start to get brighter. The colors get deeper. The junipers start to just turn grays and blues and silvers. They start to get some colors. The cotoneaster they get this blue and then dark green color to them. That's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And the cold activates that and brings the color out in them.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them more dramatic.
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially if you look at hollies and yews, I mean, they easily go down the negative 20s,
I think minus 40 or something. I mean, some crazy cold.
We will hopefully never get that cold here.
Oh, yeah. That's why we live in Prescott. Yeah.
But especially the holly right now with the berries on them. If you had them by your front door, that would just be so pretty for the holidays and the winter time. So yeah, they do terrific. The yews do amazing in the cold. The Alberta spruce, which you mentioned. I mean, they're another one that goes like sub-zero, takes it and keeps on going.
Even colder. Mm-hmm. I was helping a gal. She came in and she saw out of the front, we've got our new 2022 potteries in. So we were showing off some of the new styles. It was white. White is trending now. So white, black, and textures and just imprinted. There's certain things. We'd shown those off. She had a holly in a beautiful white ceramic pot. Mm-hmm. She goes, I want that for my new house. I've only been here 1 week. I want that inside my house. I go, well, that's great. You can't have that plant, but you can that pot. Hollies aren't going to like the inside. Ooh. They want to be outside. Yeah. But then we took that pot, put it in a cart. We said, let's go in and look at house plants, tropicals that will grow indoors. And we can keep that same style of pot with something similar. And she was super happy. She walked off with two things, not just one.
2 pots and 2 plants.
Yeah, she was super happy.
Yeah. So some of the other plants that do terrific this time of year, I was actually walking through the nursery yard, and you know what stood out at me was the old gold junipers.
Yeah, classic.
So that bright yellow on them this time of year is just really shows up nicely out there. And they get what, about 4 by 4, 3 by 4?
Not even 4, maybe 3 foot high, maybe 2.5 to 3 foot high. They're below my hip. We've got some big ones, but they go really wide. So they're stretch your arms out, and then even a little bit more when they're really mature. Yeah,
they just look so striking out there in the nursery yard. And we, like you said, we have some in the backyard of our house that I love. This time of year, you look out the back window and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Snow and ice over the pond. I got to put the pond heater out.
Yeah, anyway. Definitely. The birds would like that. But they really show up very dynamic out there. Some of the other ones that I think show up really well this time of year too are the hawthorns. I love the hawthorns because they kind of get that almost burgundy. You keep playing with this green. They get a real almost burgundy color to them with the green. So it's just very attractive to have that kind of winter color on them. Keep their leaves. A lot of times they have berries. So they usually put on kind of a purpley burgundy berry, which the birds love. So you're feeding the birds, but also gives you some more color out there in the yard. A couple others that do really well is pyracantha. There again has nice berries on
big
it.
Orange berries, typically orange or red. Yep,
depending upon the variety. And they can take the cold just as well as anything else. You wouldn't really think that looking at them with their leaf, but they're perfectly happy out in the cold. Nandinas are another one that, hey, they're like, yeah, it's cold, no big deal. I'll just keep looking really cool.
Actually, they'll get red. Now they're starting to turn red because the cold activates the color in them.
Right.
So you start to get this red top to them. So they almost become better looking in the cold.
Right. Camellias are another one that have done surprisingly well. And a lot of them are getting ready to bloom. They'll probably be blooming, I'd say, in another month or so.
Yeah, that's right. Into January, February. Yeah. Great ideas. So lots, and all these plants, they're in. You've got these now.
We've got them.
We've got them. They're looking good. You can plant them now. So if you're bored this holiday over the holiday break, and you just want to get your feet dirty and get some earth on your hands and kind of touch some plants, or just come in and bring your cup of coffee and
come
peruse the gardens.
We got nothing else.
Talk gardening. We love talking gardening with gardeners. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. Thank you, Lisa. We will be right back right after these important messages.
Look for more tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts through Ken's website. Podcast the show, read his weekly garden column, or follow him on Facebook and Instagram at watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com.
Okay, maybe after the same white elephant exchange, it's time to start a new holiday tradition.
A living Christmas tree from Waters Garden Center can be decorated and enjoyed for a lifetime, not just a season.
When the holiday festivities end, gather family and friends and plant your tree together for years of enjoyment. Guaranteed.
As your family tree grows, have a tree grow with your family from Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
Hi, Lisa with the plants of the week and our Prescott, Alberta spruce.
This perfectly shaped tree displays dense green needles which are as soft as a teddy bear.
The perfect front yard Christmas tree for holiday lighting, and oh, so beautiful when matched in pairs at the front door.
Hand grown, these are perfectly shaped and sized for home accents.
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, where people who love twinkly little Christmas trees, they love to shop. Welcome to the Mountain Gardener with Ken Lane. Gardening in the mountains is different. Listen to Ken's tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts guaranteed to make your gardens more beautiful than ever this year. Now for better advice that works locally, welcome your host, Ken Lane.
And we are back. One of the pleasures of having an office studio right here at the Garden Center is when a guest comes to the Garden Center, John Murphy, friend of mine, he's putting together a tremendous benefit to the community, a community garden out in Chino Valley, and he's holding a gala. I said, John, we have to get you on the airwaves. We've got to promote this. People need to know about this stuff. You're doing such good stuff. So John Murphy, welcome to the studio. Make 100 Healthy. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Ken, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I couldn't think of a better place to talk about our gardening programs. And the official title is the Prescott Food Forest at Be Organic Farm. But the exciting part of this is that we're building a gardening discovery education center, and we're looking to teach the next generation of gardeners how to garden through our Gardeners of Destiny training program. So that's a lot in there, but it all comes down to
That's several mouthfuls.
We have a location, a beautiful farm, Be Organic Farm in Chino Valley. We've got a greenhouse that we have heated all winter long. So we have a basically a learning, teaching garden all winter long, and we're kicking it off with a big gala on Tuesday, January 17th at the club at Prescott Lakes. It's our Victory Garden Gala to benefit the Prescott Food Forest and our Gardeners of Destiny training program. I am so honored that you have agreed to come and be our keynote speaker.
Yeah.
And, there's not anybody in the area that is more passionate about gardening than you are. So thank you.
It's doing great stuff. So you've got 5 acres.
Yes.
Of gardens or potential gardening.
Potential, yes.
You were showing me some videos of Tri-City Prep. It's like 30 kids out there.
Well, no, it's actually Trinity Christian School.
I apologize. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, they're welcome as well.
We'll get more kids involved.
Yes, exactly.
So how did you get them, and what did they think were the kids? Or they're just volunteering?
Yeah, they're volunteering, and they're a bunch of kids. So I've been speaking with the folks at Trinity Christian School, Mr. Orr and Aaron Rosberg, and I've been telling them about this program, and they said, we want to be involved. We want to support this. This is right up our alley. We're a service-based, Christian-based school, and this is something we want to do. So when we got it going last week, last week we had 18 kids on one day for 3 hours, and the next day we had 22 kids. So 40 kids gave 120 volunteer hours. We were able to turn the greenhouse over, one of the beds, and we are ready for our classes that start on January 21st, winter greenhouse gardening, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it was so good to see these kids getting their hands in the dirt to learn about planting, replanting, compost. We even had some worms coming in from the worm farm.
Nice.
And they took an acre parcel and totally prepped it for the spring. So we're grateful. Thank you, kids, and thank you from everybody from Trinity. And that's what this is all about.
Sure.
It's not just one school. Any school, organization, or family that wants to learn about gardening or already knows and wants to share what they know, that's what our Prescott Food Forest at Be Organic Farm is all about.
Most community gardens are, here's a square plot. I've set up a lot of these throughout different around the community. It's here's a plot. You want to rent one for $50 and grow your own stuff.
Right.
We're not talking this.
No, this is not
We're
really.
We're talking about learning how to grow like that.
That's right.
And then on steroids, bigger. And then you're taking that food and what do you do with all that? So,
well, the Be Organic folks have been giving away 85% of what they've grown for years. They give it to the food pantries and the kitchen down in Solid Rock Church and Community Pregnancy Center. So they give away most of their food. But that's because they are really limited on what they can grow because of help. So we came in and, like you said, we have 5 acres. I mean, we're going to have berry farms. We have 2 other greenhouses. We have an apiary. We have 2 cisterns out there with 5,000 gallons of water. It is turnkey. And so the community garden concept kind of evolved into the Gardening Discovery Center. And as they say, if you teach, if you give somebody a fish, they'll eat for the day. But if you teach them how to fish, and it's the same concept, we really want the kids and really adults of all ages to learn how to grow food. It's good for your mental wellness, it's good for your physical strength, and it's good to know because it's a life skill that's kind of gone away. And we know that, you know, what we know is we can't for sure know that we'll always have food from the traditional distribution systems.
So how do people get involved with this?
Well, there's several ways. First of all, I want to invite everyone in your audience that loves gardening to come to the event.
Sure. January 17th.
Tuesday, January 17th from 5 to 9 at the Club at Prescott Lakes. We've got a great evening. We have great entertainment with Kenny James and Michael Soma and Rick Jordan. And we have food stations, and we're going to have a raffle, a silent auction. We have so many great gifts and contributions from the local businesses. And by the way, we're still looking for some. So you can get in touch with our PrescottFoodForest.com.
Gotcha.
Tickets you can get on. If you want to volunteer, there's a volunteer schedule. So our main point of contact is PrescottFoodForest.com. And you could call me directly even at 908-309-7046. You can get the tickets online, and there's a discount if you get a table. So,
awesome.
And thank
Give
Waters
that number
Garden
one
Center.
more time, just for those that maybe were driving. Pull over now. And John's phone number is
908-309-7046. Or
PrescottFoodForest.com.
You can get tickets right online. You'll get everything will be automated.
So get involved in the event. That's going to
right.
raise money so we can go get soils and foods. I'm already talking to growers. Like Monrovia just committed like 6 or more fruit trees, berries,
that's amazing.
Grapes,
Thank
and then
you.
Lisa and I will match that. So
Wow,
we'll get that
that's
going off the
perfect.
ground. And now we can teach folks how to grow trees, how to prune.
Yeah.
All
we have
those.
50 trees out there already,
Yeah.
and some need to be replaced. But yeah, this is just a one-stop gardening education center, and we just are so excited to teach people how to grow food, and then once they learn, how they become a gardening guru and teach others. So one of the benefits of having this event is we've gotten so many people that want to volunteer, either individually as family. So I welcome anyone that wants to come up and give 3 or 4 hours a week. You're more than welcome to. This is on a private property. That's why it's not really a community garden anymore,
Sure.
but it is a garden for the community. And it's for our community to come together in fellowship and to help out those less fortunate, but also to give good nutritional food to all of our citizens in the area.
So do you meet every Saturday, or how do you know how often? Do you have a set?
Well, right now we have crews going up on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Gotcha.
And we're going to have a weekend crew. And thank you for reminding me. I'd like to invite, the third thing is, if you want to really learn everything about the ecosystem of growing food, please join up for our winter greenhouse gardening class 8 weeks in a row from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. starting January 21st.
Oh, nice.
And it's an 8-week class. It's good for families, good for groups, individuals. There's a slight cost for it, but we are giving away, if you want to give time, we'll give you credit for that.
Gotcha.
So-
and as kids, maybe poor kids, do you have scholarship money?
We have
Maybe
scholarship
help
money.
Make sure kids can get in there, or
Our
families that have.
event is to raise money so that anybody that wants to
Nice.
learn how to grow food, if financing is a problem, we don't want that to be a barrier.
Yeah,
In
good.
fact, when you give your time, we're going to give you food.
Yeah,
And
nice.
so it's really good.
So you got 45 seconds. just wrap it up and tell people where, when, how. One last shot. It's all yours.
Well, Ken, thank you very much. I'd like to invite everybody again, January 17th from 5 to 9 at the Club at Prescott Lakes. It's our Victory Garden Charity Gala. We've got great entertainment, great talent, which is, of course, yourself. You can get tickets at PrescottFoodForest.com or call me directly at 908-309-7046. If you want to volunteer, go to PrescottFoodForest.com, and we're looking forward to an amazing event. And thank you for all your support.
I can't believe you've already got so many volunteers going.
It's good stuff.
Mark and Jenny out there have been doing great work for years, but to have volunteers help and kind of shore them up, it's going to be a game changer. So Ken Lane, the Mountain Gardener, here with John Murphy, and Make 100 Healthy, and the Victory Garden Gala coming up January 17th. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to local garden expert Ken Lane, the owner of Waters Garden Center. He can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center, located in Prescott at 1815 Iron Springs Road. Thanks for tuning in to The Mountain Gardener. The holidays are here in the Christmas City, bringing family and friends together, and those chilly winter winds. While you're decorating the outside, don't forget to brighten your inside with exotic holiday plants from Waters. Beautiful poinsettias and Christmas cactus are coming to town, grown exclusively for Waters in colors you won't find anywhere else. Unique, vibrant, and guaranteed to warm up even the dreariest of winter days. Check your list twice for all the holiday plants only found at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Look, if your wife, mom, or dad wants an ugly sweater for Christmas, get them a sweater, not some piece of plastic.
But if someone you truly care about loves their garden, a gift card to Waters makes perfect sense.
Next spring, she can pick exactly what she was hoping.
We all know it's not the same as a huge flower basket or fragrant rose, but hey, it's winter. Gardeners understand.
Waters online gift cards are found at top10plants.com or at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
You've tuned in to The Mountain Gardener with local garden expert Ken Lane. Join him each week as he answers timely garden questions that are sure to make a difference in your gardens. Now welcome your host, Ken Lane.
Something I was mentioning evergreens last segment. Something that you want to really watch is this point forward through March. This is any size, any age evergreen. This is conifers typically. Remember, conifers are pined, kind of needled kind of evergreens. They load up with snow and ice, and so sometimes they can break branches. So if we see a major event, and they're not. Maybe there's one coming next week. I don't know. Might be a white winter, white Christmas. I don't know. But just put it on your list. If you wake up and there's a lot of snow, we're talking maybe over 4 inches of snow or more. Or if your evergreens are bending under the weight of the snow, you should go out and just sweep the bulk of the snow off of those trees. And what I'll do is I'll take a broom, and I just start from the bottom and I start sweeping side to side. I don't go up and down, because sometimes you can take that heavy weight, sweep down, and you'll break the top of the tree. But if you start from the bottom, sweep side to side, all that snow will start knocking off. You can see the plant kind of perk back up, going, okay, I'm fine. Thanks very much. But if it stays real heavy like that, and then it gets really, really cold after a storm. So after the storm clears, that's when most of the damage happens. It's not at the beginning of the storm. Yeah, we get a temperature change, but because of all the clouds, it can only get so cold. But after that storm clears off and those clouds clear off, oh my goodness, it'll drop another 20, 30 degrees. You can go from 32, high 20s down to 9 degrees like that. And so there, if the sap in that tree freezes with all that weight on top, and it's got this droopy look to it, the top is bent over, kind of Charlie Brown looking, and it gets really cold, and it freezes like that, it can almost it can damage a tree where it kind of locks in place, and it forever looks kind of funky looking, swoopy, like it's underburdened, underweight. You just don't want that. You want perky, happy green. I'm so happy it's winter. Oh, let me show off stuff. Not, oh my gosh, I'm just tired. Why is it so cold? That's what that heavy. So taking that snow off keeps it from being misshaped and keeps the branches from breaking. So if we get sometimes these storms last a couple days. And so it keeps that weight off that plant so you don't break a branch. It'll be a game changer for you. And that's really for this mid-central, the chaparral layers from like 4,000 foot to about 6,000 foot level of altitude. That's where it really, you see, it seems to play out. The folks that are higher, that 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 foot Greer, those areas, you guys just get cold, and it's just cold. It just locks into place. Things are frozen. They never thaw out. But most of us in the highlands from Kingman to Payson and everything in between, from Cordis Junction to Skull Valley, Kirklands to Pauldens, it gets nice. It's just nicer. So we don't really freeze and stay frozen for 2-3 months. It's just nicer. Just watch that and protect your faucets, the water sources. Don't let that backflow preventer freeze. Heat tape. Don't let your faucets freeze. Put a little insulative cone over it. Just kind of watch your well house. Make sure it's buttoned up. Make sure that heat lamp is still on. So think this is the time. So I know the well house is all insulated, but as we get colder and colder, it can permeate in and do some damage. So I've made sure all my thermostatically controlled electrical outlets that control heat lamps and heat tape and that kind of stuff, they're all fresh, new. I've tested them. They're good. And I've just checked them once for winter. I've buttoned up all the insulation on the well houses, and they're good to go. And so I'm not going to have a freeze event in those houses. Just kind of a couple of things to watch in your own gardens. Hey, between now and Christmas, may I wish you and your family the happiest of holidays and merriest of Christmas. Have a good week, everyone. If you enjoy this show and would like to hear more, please subscribe to The Mountain Gardener, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you'd like even more garden tips, tricks, and helpful advice, please check out my website at watersgardencenter.com for classes, videos, and more, or my online garden center at top10plants.com. Throughout the week, Lisa and I can be found here at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
You're listening to local garden expert Ken Lane, the owner of Waters Garden Center. He can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center, located in Prescott at 1815 Iron Springs Road. Thanks for tuning in to The Mountain Gardener.
Okay, maybe after decades of the same fruitcake exchange, it's time to start a new holiday tradition.
A living Christmas tree from Waters Garden Center can be decorated and enjoyed for a lifetime, not just a season.
When the holiday festivities end, gather family and friends and plant your tree together for years of enjoyment.
As your family tree grows, have a tree that grows with your family. From Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. If you want a more fruitful garden, increase success in your landscape that just feels better, then tune in every week to The Mountain Gardener. Years of tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts are guaranteed to make your gardens nicer than ever. Listen to this podcast or read Ken's weekly garden column by visiting watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com. Thanks for tuning in.